Right, so, Ray, I found the speech from the whole Cliven Bundy Cow Fiasco.
Oh, really? I love that guy.
How can you like him?
He's a real American. I don't know the entire story, but he stands up against the federal government, which is something I like.
All right. Well, here's what's happened so far. So there's this guy, Cliven Bundy, who's a rancher in Nevada, and his family for the past 160-ish years has been grazing the cattle on federal land, which, since the federal government allowed it, it wasn't really that big of a deal. And then 20 years ago, the government changed their policy to focus more on land conservation and environmental protection, and they started charging fees for the use of their land. And since they own the land, they're perfectly allowed to do that, at least under the capitalist model of economics.
I love capitalism.
Yeah, I know. Well, Bundy took issue with that because he didn't want to have to pay to use land that didn't belong to him. So he didn't, and he kept using the land anyway. And over the past 20 years, this has been going to the courts to try to get him to pay his fees, you know, like the other 16,000 law-abiding ranchers in America do. And then after all these legal battles, the government finally decided to enforce the law, and they started confiscating the cows that didn't belong on federal land because he didn't pay to use the land that's not his.
The federal government has no business taking people's cows, though.
What? All right. What if somebody was selling roses in the parking lot of your gun shop?
That's a dumb question. I'd tie them up to a stake and use the roses as kindling, and unless they paid me fees.
Yeah. Well, this is kind of the same situation, except this time, Bundy called his militia movement buddies out to his ranch, and they used force to bring his cows back so that he could continue using the land that's not his without having to pay for it.
What's wrong with that?
Let's just watch a speech.
Mr. Gorbachev.
The only thing we have to fear
Was a little Cocker Spaniel dog.
Well, this is a very heartwarming day.
Carter, here's your beer.
It's a heartwarming day
And
for
I will
America.
put this in a safe spot.
To see we
Whoa.
the people stand
Careful.
with our neighbors in defense of liberty is very inspiring. And I
Yes,
I
it
want to
is.
thank the Bundys for inviting us to this picnic.
I brought the beer.
And I'm bringing the ruckus.
It's been amazing. I've known Clive Bundy. I got to tell him I'm sorry. I always called you Clive. I didn't call you Clive, and I don't know if you know that, but I've always called him Clive. We've
And
known
here,
each
I
other
thought
for
his name
20
was
years.
Clove this whole time.
We've spoken at freedom rallies all across the country because we're fighting for our Constitution. We want our Constitution placed back as the supreme law of the land.
And I want a supreme
We
taco
don't
in my
believe
hand.
That
Yeah, that rhymes.
bureaucratic
Yeah,
policies
That's why I said it.
and regulations supersede the Constitution. I came here because I don't believe the BLM
The butt-licking
has
mafia?
any authority whatsoever. They have no law enforcement authority in Clark County. and
So
they
the
have no
bureaucracy
business
set up by
whatsoever
Congress in accordance with the
destroying
Constitution
the
has no
pursuit of
authority
happiness of one of our
because the
friends and
Constitution
brothers.
is the ultimate authority.
Their policies, grazing fees do not supersede life, liberty, and property. And
As
we
they
had
shouldn't.
federal agents
As they
here
don't.
that were ready to destroy all three of those.
No,
And I
they
was
were
so
just
amazed
enforcing
that
the
there's
rules of
men
usage on their
in
own
this
land.
country who have sworn an oath in God's name to
Huh,
uphold
which
and
one,
defend
Thor?
the Constitution that we're here ready to shoot fellow Americans.
So he's
And
saying
I
how
want to
he's
talk
willing
to
to
you
shoot
right
fellow
now.
Americans?
When the
Great.
federal bureaucracies
No,
and your
he's explaining how the
supervisors
government's going to come in
tell
and shoot
you
people.
to
You
arm
mean the
yourselves with
government
all
that
these
just walked away
high-powered
from the
rifles
standoff?
and go out
You're
and
thinking
maybe
about this
shoot
too much.
people who are merely
think you're
trying to
thinking about it
defend their
enough.
livelihoods and their families.
It's okay if we
Stand
do
down
it,
and
but
tell
not the
your
damn
supervisors
government.
That you won't do that for a paycheck or a pension or for anything. Stand down and go home.
Just like your supervisor told you to do.
You have to be better than that. You have to know better. You're better than that.
Oh, actually,
Stand
we're
for
not, but,
America and leave your stupid jobs behind. Protect your families as well. Now, I've got to say, I've been bad-mouthing politicians all over this country.
But now, isn't a sheriff
Where
an
were
elected
they?
position?
Where was John
Yeah, but
McCain
it's
when
different
this
because
was all
the
going
people
on?
pick it.
Where was Mike Lee, Ron Paul, Rand Paul's, Ted Cruz? Where were any of them? Where was Justin Amash? All of them from Washington. Michelle Bachmann, I never saw her stand for any of this. Where were they?
Where's Bozo the
Where was
Clown?
the
Why isn't
White
he
House?
here to make us
what
laugh?
What were they all doing while we had people out here almost dying?
They were doing real political
Shot
work,
by our own
like making
government.
colorful
They came here
castles
ready to shoot.
out of Play-Doh.
And I'm so disappointed and disgusted with that. That should have never been. That should not be happening in America, for God's sake.
And for those of us entrenched in the real world, luckily it didn't.
You're not siding with the man, are you?
I want to point some of them out.
Oh, don't do that.
Kelly Townsend, Kelly Ward, David Livingston right here, Judy Burgess.
She's packing some heat.
Yeah, hopefully she's packing an extra pair of pens.
Barry Waller from Apache County. He's a county
First we
commissioner.
took the land
He
from the
came up
Indians,
here.
and now we're taking it from the
Robert
government.
Corbell from Greenlee County. He's a county commissioner. He came up here. Who did I forget? Well, that and many more from Arizona were here. Some of them had to go back today.
They said spring break's over,
Matt
but
Schaefer,
who are they
Washington,
kidding?
and
They
another
don't go to
Washington
school.
State reps. They came here because they saw something.
They thought
And
they saw
maybe it
aliens
was because
abducting
of
the
what
cattle.
We saw. We all watched.
But it was just the
When we
government.
should have moved in 1992 about Ruby Ridge.
Oh,
and a
boy.
year later in Waco, and we sat and watched and we didn't move and take care of these things. We have got to stand, and this is what you did. We've learned from history, haven't we?
Well,
Didn't
apparently
want
you need to
history
brush up on
to
the Civil
repeat
War.
itself here, did we? No. So, another thing, my good friend and brother Bundy, my friend Clive, was right.
Cliven.
The sheriffs need to take an example from these cowboys that went out there and got the cows back. You need to saddle up, you need to cowboy up, and you need to protect your people. And I want y'all to know there's some sheriffs already out here doing it. This is not isolated. We have Sheriff Palmer in Grant County, Oregon. We have Sheriff Christopher out in Delaware. We have Sheriff Finch in Florida.
Sheriff Albatross in Australia.
Mark in Milwaukee. We have sheriffs all over this country. Sheriff Brad Rogers from Elkhart County, Indiana. Oh my God!
That's like 9 out of
We have sheriffs that
3,000.
are standing and protecting. We have Sheriff DeMayo, who's done it right here in Nevada. We have Sheriff Jones, who has done it. Sheriff Amon in Idaho. Sheriff Penrod, even in California. Do you know what? We have sheriffs standing against gun control in New York.
New York City?
And now, to the people of Connecticut.
You have beautiful eyes.
Your state made a horrible mistake, and some of you went along with it
And if by
back
some
about
you mean
15
most.
years ago. And you got rid of sheriffs. And there's nobody there standing for you. And they're talking about door-to-door confiscation.
No, that's not
Because
what they're
there's
saying.
nobody
Yeah,
there
you
to
should probably
stop it.
find a better source than
The
Alex
sheriffs
Jones.
aren't there to
And by
man-
his
to
philosophy,
man up.
since that's what the
Yeah, we
people
have
decide to do in their
oathkeepers trying to
state,
do it.
then it should be okay, right?
We want the
Come on
elected
now,
official,
don't
just
make me
like
decide
Mr.
between
Bundy
the two of
said,
them.
the sheriffs are here to protect us. And they don't exist in Alaska or Hawaii.
Just like unicorns.
And they got rid of them in Connecticut. They're trying to get rid of them in Delaware, trying to get rid of them in Massachusetts. They've reduced them. They're trying to appoint them now instead of what he said. The sovereign counties elect them. We, the people, elect them. They
I thought
are
politicians
the
were
ultimate
bad, though.
protector of America. We saw quite a dichotomy here in this incident from Sheriff Gillespie. First he said, I'm not getting involved. I don't have the authority.
And he's right. It's called the
don't-
Supremacy Clause.
This is
That's in
what
the
that would mean.
Constitution.
I don't have the
What you
authority
think you're for?
to keep my oath of office. I don't have the authority to protect and serve. I don't have the authority to keep the peace. That's the reason you were hired, Sheriff Gillespie. We've been trying to tell Sheriff Gillespie that for the last 3 years. He hasn't wanted to listen. I've dedicated my life to creating constitutional
Coyote do you
sheriffs in
think
this
is out
country,
there?
to wake them up
Probably not
to
enough
the
for
awful
you.
situation that we're in,
I'd
and to
give it a
remind them
shot,
that they
though.
took an oath to uphold and
Think you could
defend,
go on a
protect, and
trip.
preserve the United States Constitution. We
Yeah,
can
have you
take
actually
America
read
back,
any part of that?
but
I
it's
mean,
not
other than the
Washington,
Second
D.C.
Amendment?
The place that we erect the barriers, as James Madison warned us to do, erect the barriers against the encroachments of the national authority.
Wait,
to
what-
disarm
Madison
them,
was a Federalist,
to
though,
disarm
wasn't he?
these bureaucrats, to make sure
He wrote
they're
the
not
Federalist
coming in
Papers.
here and committing crimes or murder or shooting at unarmed Americans.
None of which they did,
What
so
a
it works out.
travesty that would have been to have occurred here.
Luckily, our government
But that
actually
we,
has
the
some
people,
respect for
with our
human
sheriffs,
life,
take
so
back
they didn't.
America, county by county, sheriff by sheriff, and state by state. Clive is absolutely correct.
It's Cliven.
If the sheriff had done his job, we would have never been here. And as much as I love you, I shouldn't have got to know any of you. Stay in your areas. You must go back to your areas and your states and find someone who's a constitutional candidate to be your sheriff. Ask your sheriff if he'll be a constitutional sheriff, and don't take his word for it.
Then why ask him?
Never take his word for it. Ask him what he's done to uphold and defend the Constitution in his county. Ask him if he's put the federal government on notice.
Tell him to put it up on
That
Colbert's
he will
board.
not allow them to do this sort of thing in his county. Every sheriff today in America should let the federal government know what happened here will not happen in my county.
Fortunately, there aren't many counties that have substantial amounts of federal land being used by freeloaders in their jurisdiction.
If he needs one of our forms, just tell him to go to cspoa.org, and we have the form right there.
You get the
He can
internet all the
sign
way
it
out there.
and send it to all of them. We've already done the work for him.
Good, less thinking to
Okay?
do.
And my dear friends,
I propose a cornhole tournament.
let's remember. There's a gospel song said, "We have not forgotten."
We just failed to remember.
We cannot forget what has happened in the past in America, and we cannot forget what happened here today. This was all about God, family, and country.
And a rich guy who
And
thinks
I
he's
pray
entitled to
the
land that
Lord
does not
that no
belong
one
to
was
him.
hurt, and that the prayers of a lot of people across this country really paid off. I want to thank Joyce Riley from the Power Hour, Sam
Power Hours
Bushman
is for
from
pansies.
the Liberty
I played
Roundtable,
Century.
and others who have been raising money across this country and helping with this. This has been a pretty expensive operation, and
All
they've
to
gone
keep
through
Bundy's
a lot of,
1.2 million.
financial hits, and we still want to back them up. And we owe everybody.
Yeah,
first
you
of all,
owe we the people our money
Randy
back.
Weaver an
I
apology.
thought you were supporting them.
Yeah,
And
that's
and
until I
we owe
realized
them
he
an
owed me
apology
money,
that we
because
didn't
I'm
get
part
there
of we the
sooner.
people.
But the federal government has got to be pushed back, and that's not going to happen in Washington, D.C. That has to happen in every county in America. Amen. Sheriff, you took the job, you swore the oath, and if any of you sheriffs continue to tell me and other people in this country, I took the federal bribes, I took the federal grants, and I'm so afraid of losing that money, so I can't do what Sheriff Mack and Clive Bundy have asked us to do. Shame on you for,
You don't get dessert.
for compromising American liberty and the liberty of your citizens because you're so afraid of losing money.
And because you actually understand the
How could you do
Constitution.
that? A sheriff who is sworn to uphold and defend and protect the people in his county, willing to compromise that to keep the federal bribe.
Oh, you mean the
What
money that helps
proves, if you're
supplement
saying
lacking
that,
local
Sheriff,
funding?
that those
Used to keep their
bribes are
operations
working
running
and doing
smoothly?
exactly what they
Yes,
were
how
meant to
awful
do.
of them.
Let's go. Let's get back to American ideals. Let's get back to the Constitution. Let's get the federal government in its place. Let's make the federal government irrelevant in our counties. We can start laughing at these guys. You're not going to come in these counties and do that. And finally, I want to thank
Irrational thinking for getting us all this far.
Clive and his good wife, Carol,
Cliven.
for having the courage to do something that we all have dreamed about, we've all prayed for.
Starting a rodeo of
Prayed for this
centaurs.
for a long time, Clive,
Cliven.
and you did it. And we all owe you a
So
debt
Max
of
Hears
gratitude.
inspired me to give a
Thanks
speech
for
on my
standing
good friend
for
Carter.
America.
Good. Hello, America. This speech is about my good friend.
Carter.
Okay, yeah, sorry, I had a brain fart there.
That's all right.
Yeah. Anyway, he doesn't like guns.
No.
He's usually too stoned to use them, though, so it works out all right. Clay here is a good guy.
Carter. Carter.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
He likes to sit on the couch, and he likes to watch TV a lot, but he learns a lot of things. He then forgets most of it, but Charles here keeps it real.
Yeah, I'm Carter. My name is Carter.
Yeah. I like to watch speeches with Claude.
Carter.
Who?
Me. I'm Carter. My name is Carter.
Oh, so this whole time I was calling you by the wrong name?
Yeah.
Oh, well, I didn't realize that, but that makes me like Sheriff Mack.
Oh, good God.
Anyway, my good friend here, Paul.
Carter! Holy crap. Are we even friends? Why would you keep calling me something that's not my name if you think we're friends?
I know your name. It's, Joe.
Oh my God. I forget this. I'm out of here.
All right, come on, Samantha, don't act like that.